And testing.
Testing.
Derringer.
1, 2, 3.
Derringer is here. And with that, I want to welcome everybody to the Nevermore Nerds Podcast. I am your favorite bard, the Midnight Bard. I'm joined, as always, by Derringer, everybody's favorite crypto mining phenomenon. And
You're not supposed to tell them that.
oh, that's true. I'm sorry. Well, everybody forget what I just said, please. And joining us today is a self-proclaimed expert on Riot Games, World Championship arm wrestler, inventor of Tesla, and in Spanish, he is known as el Señor Más Puertas. Welcome, Señor Más Puertas.
3 of those things were true, 1 was a lie. You decide.
Más Puertas in Spanish means more door.
Okay, well, guys, it's been fun talking to you. I'll just show myself out.
Adios, everybody. It's been a good stream. It's a dang shame the bard killed it with a joke.
Adios.
But yeah, so today on the Nevermore Nerds, we will be discussing Riot Games.
They are a thing.
They are a riot.
I was going there, and you got there before me. Nice.
I had to deny that from you.
Gotta say hello to Idiotic Synergy, who absolutely got the joke. Mordor. Señor Más Puertas, a.k.a. Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Only a minute long. Yes, it was only a minute long for this stream because I could not help myself and I just went all out with the joke, and apparently my jokes kill. You buy more doors here. Yeah. However many doors you think you have, Señor Más Puertas has more door.
Welcome to Lord Mordor's Door Emporium.
Due to a
We got
shipping
garden
error.
doors, back doors. We got garden doors, back doors, garage doors, all the doors.
Due to a shipping error, we've now overstocked in doors, and I'm passing the savings on to you.
To you.
But welcome everybody. Welcome Helix. Welcome Idiotic Synergy. Today we're discussing Riot Games. What's it called? Which includes Legends of Runeterra, the League of Legends card game, League of Legends, the World of Warcraft spin-off, and Valorant, the Overwatch spin-off.
Wait, did you just call League of Legends the World of Warcraft spin-off?
Kinda, yes, because
And it's like, it's kind of, but it's like 3 degrees off.
yeah. So I mean, like,
Me and the special guests with that statement.
no, but I mean, like, I heard that League of Legends was originally made by taking some World of Warcraft, what do you call it, like assets, and
Alright.
putting them together to make a new game. After that, it evolved clearly. I mean, like, they didn't keep doing that.
Derringer, sit you down here on my knee, and I'll spin you a tale of Riot Games.
Spin me a
Once
tale.
upon a time, back in the good old days,
Okie doke.
there was a game called Warcraft 3. And they made a mod for Warcraft 3 called Defense of the Ancients.
Uh-huh.
There were some men that worked on that mod alongside the almighty Ice Frog that we know and love. Hollow be his name. And one of those men was Gwynsu. And he decided he wanted to do something different. He wanted to take that Warcraft Dota 2 mod and change it, put it in a different engine, update it, make it look different. And he made League of Legends.
Okay, so I wasn't completely off base. I was just looking in, like, slightly off direction.
No, so back in the day of StarCraft and Warcraft, the actual, not World of Warcraft, I'm talking actual Warcraft.
What's the difference?
There was World of Warcraft is a MMORPG. Warcraft is a RTS, a real-time strategy game. So think StarCraft except fantasy races.
I see.
Now, Blizzard back in the day had a huge history, and it still to an extent does, of like community mods and community-made games. And they made the Defense of the Ancients using the assets of Warcraft. So the modding community and like some of the Blizzard people who were kind of a part of it made this other game mode out of the assets of this RTS.
Okay.
And Blizzard back in the day was like, oh yeah, go ahead, mod our shit. But it was just an alternate game mode that people could make custom games for them. They didn't really look to monetize it in any way. It was just, hey, this is something our players are doing. They just let them do their own thing. Some of the people who worked on that realized, wait a minute, this is actually a really popular game system. That people are really enjoying this. So they broke off and made their own company called Riot Games and made their own version of it. Minor tweaks, they added things like the bushes. The early characters were very basic archetype. Oh, here's sexy ice archer. And that was it. It was like, oh, it's a little fire girl. You know, and they made the thing. And it was a more goofy art style then. You know, it wasn't as polished as it is now, but they actually dedicated the company around it, and that was what was making the money. And so Warcraft, the people at Blizzard were basically sitting on this idea that came from their community, didn't do anything with it, and then Riot has now, you know, become like League is now like the top game for the past 10 years.
So a couple of things. I want to say hi to Creepy Clown Girl. She has joined us in the chat. So hey, Cece. And also, Sexy Ice Archer is one of my favorite characters in League of Legends.
Everyone loves Sexy Ice Archer.
Yeah, Sexy Ice Archer. Best character. Best girl.
Yep, so that is kind of... Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I have to disagree and say that Pirate Woman is better than Sexy Ice Archer.
Pirate Woman with 2 guns, yes.
Pirate Woman with 2 guns is better.
Also,
I see where this conversation is going, and I don't like it.
Welcome to Riot Games Waifu Discussion, where we discuss which waifu is best and why it's not Viper from Valorant.
Well, once again, I am heading out.
Sorry, when you said Viper, it's like immediately I was like, Dota 2.
Is there a Viper in Dota 2? I don't know. I've never played Dota 2.
Yeah, it's like a giant green flying snake.
Oh.
Wait, is it the same Viper? I thought it was like LaSalle. Dota 2 uses their titles instead of their actual name. So it's like Deathbringer or Death Adder or something like that?
Yeah, well, see, with that, it goes back to the whole Warcraft thing. Dota 2 was made with the Warcraft assets. Dota was made with the Warcraft assets. So all of the original names, like Lirelai the Windrunner, they had to be changed due to copyright.
Because of Sylvanas
issues.
the Windrunner?
Yeah, well, it was... in Warcraft, they had Lirelai the Windrunner, which now it's... In Dota 2, it's Wind Ranger, and it's not... There's no like name given to her or anything unless you look in the actual like lore of the hero.
Got it.
So like Viper was, I believe, Nether Drake. I don't remember Viper's actual name, but they changed everything.
The thing about being a Nether Drake is I used to call them on their cell phones.
I'm missing that one.
You guys don't remember the hotline bling?
That one's not landing for me.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm Derringer, joined with Bard and Lord Mordor. We're done with this last episode.
So,
we're done.
Real quick thing, what's it called? Helix says that there's a lot of hot takes here, to which Raven replied that Derringer is made of hot takes. So yeah, why don't you give us your hottest take of League of Legends or whatever you got for us? Hit us with it.
Dota 2 is better than League of Legends. That's a hot take for you.
I very much disagree. And the fact that League is
Fight.
This is what we become. We're now arguing with our guests.
I disagree, and the fact that League still maintains its position as the top game, like, after 10 years, is, I think, most people in the world also agree with me.
Is it top game, though? I mean, I feel like it's really exclusive to, like, PC players.
As far as League goes, it is the most popular esport for the past 10 years. I will confirm that.
It must have, like...
Okay, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong here, because I don't follow this part of the scene very much, but aren't its Twitch viewers, like, also the top? Near the top?
Like I said,
I'm a YouTuber. I don't know nothing about this Twitch you speak of.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's the most popular esport there is. It is at 400,000 viewers on Twitch right now, which is below just chatting and Minecraft, which is at basically 1 million. But when we look at like the prize pools, Dota is like the better game in like terms of prize money, because I believe your guys' international or worlds is like a prize pool of a couple $1 million, when our prize pools for the past like 4 or 5 years has been like 13 to 20 million.
Let me see if I can find that data. But I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of a weird metric to judge on which game is better / more successful. Okay, this is how much we're playing our top players.
That's true, because like here's the thing. I hear about League of Legends all the time. I hear of Dota like almost never. You know, like it's kind of like last time I heard about it was when Netflix put up the Dota thing on their service.
And just to help you out, I'm pulling up the data. So League's 2021 World's prize pool was 2,300,000. Let's call it, and I'm looking up Dota's right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dota's international 2019. Well, for the 2019 prize pool, it was $34 million.
Why can't I find the 20? Oh, I'm trying to find the prize.
There wasn't one in 2020 because of COVID.
Yeah.
And it just
League proceeded through COVID. Not even the virus can stop Riot. More evidence for the superior game.
Yep.
Okay, I'll admit defeat there, but I'm not saying League is bad in any shape or form, by the way.
No, I don't think Dota's bad either. They're very similar games. Like, I think of it like the card game situation. They're both kind of flavors of the same thing, and you may prefer one particular flavor over the other. Like, I know Dota, like, a lot of the players in it pride itself on it being a higher difficulty curve, where it's like, oh, you need to deny your opponent's creeps. Your characters turn and move more slowly, and you have to, like, there's the couriers to get your items and stuff, and managing that kind of thing. They consider these higher skill things like evidence of the better game, and they prefer it that way. League is kind of like, no, we prefer being, higher accessibility, so, lower bar the entry, and, they just prefer different things about the game.
Yeah, and that's, like, it's like we said earlier, Dota and League are basically, they came from the same place. It was the same team working on the original Warcraft mod that was Dota, and then they decided to go different ways and do different things with their games. But it's the same people who made that original game. So, I mean, it's like they're brothers in a way.
Yeah.
They're related.
Yep. And at the end of the day, we can all just blame Blizzard for not realizing what they had and doing anything with it until someone else took it out of their hands.
And now they're bought by Microsoft.
Yep.
Did we happen to discuss that last time, that Microsoft bought out Blizzard?
I don't think that had happened yet, actually. But I did find the 2021 prize pool. It was $40,018,000.
Oh, wow. Yep. Definitely a significantly higher prize pool. I just don't I can see why it would be appealing towards, like, you know, the pro scene, like, oh, hey, we could potentially get more money by playing this game. But considering that the League Worlds is still like much higher viewership and that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, I just feel like that's a weird metric to measure it on.
Well, it all depends on like what country you're in. We're in America where
Metric doesn't mean
is
anything.
bigger, whereas like Dota is it's more like the Chinese are really big into Dota, the Russians are really big into Dota.
Yeah.
But it's not like a huge thing here.
It's
or
true.
A huge thing in Europe.
That's also true for League, though. League is like really huge overseas a lot, and over here, it's not that it isn't popular. It's just, you know, like
The Chinese market for League right now is honestly massive, and there is a community, there's a group in the League community who are like calling out like, hey, you know, we see what you guys are doing. You're to an extent kind of catering to some of the Chinese market interest. And to be fair, Riot does have the parent company Tencent, which is Chinese. So, but on the plus side, it seems like they're still allowed to do pretty much what they want. But some of like their design choices of characters are making people feel like, yeah, hey, they're kind of catering to that market. But
yeah,
fair, that's
apparently
how
they don't.
business works.
Yeah, they don't like monster-looking characters overseas so much. They like more the pretty characters. So a lot of like the uglier ones, like the who was it? Thresh. Was it Thresh?
Yeah, oh god, that skin.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
The human skin, I didn't see that until maybe like a month or two ago, and being a Thresh main, that hurt my soul.
It hurt everyone's.
That skin in there. Like even kind of when they changed Urgot's skin, like they gave him some more cutesy skins, which Star Guardian Urgot's the best thing ever.
Started
Don't get me wrong.
They have. Yeah. No. So I agree with you, but also, I lost my train of thought almost. Oh yeah, China has like a censorship issue in regards to skeletons and skulls and death-related things. And the reason that skin started was because of their mobile version, Wild Rift. So Wild Rift, they don't have all the champions in the game yet, and they wanted to bring in Thresh because Thresh is without doubt one of the most popular supports. He has that dark, edgy monster energy that a lot of supports don't have. He's a playmaker. He has a good kit. They wanted to bring him into Wild Rift. Problem: Thresh is a giant torturing skeleton ghost, and China is like, we don't like most of those things. So what did they decide to do? Well, they had that Ruined King Ruination event happening, and it's like, hey, let's make
let's make him sexy.
Yeah, basically like, oh, we're gonna find a way to make this make sense in lore, and make this make sense as a default skin. So they made sexy Thresh and justified it in lore, like, oh, he has done this, and now he is like unleashed and more powerful. But then everyone else who played the character is like, I played this guy because he's a monstrous, torturing skeleton ghost man. Why is he now sexy? Like, Thresh has sexy skins. Like, they exist. If you wanted to play sexy Thresh, there are skins for you. Why are you making his now canonical form sexy?
You see, so here's the thing. You're talking about Thresh being like this skeletal torture monster, and whenever you're saying he has sexy skins, all I'm picturing is a skeleton wearing lingerie.
I mean, that's the skin that he has.
Oh God,
Don't give Riot ideas.
Dude, when they put fucking Pajama Guardian Urgot into the game, I was just done. I was like, for years I've been asking for Star Guardian Urgot, and this is what I get. And I was happy. For once, I was happy.
I was happy once.
You keep bringing up Urgot. I'm having to look up this skin because I'm curious. Oh, God help me. Oh, no.
One thing I will say about Riot is when a fan demand gets to a certain point of meme-ness, there's a lot of times they may actually go through with it. So there was the fan demand for a while for, we want Star Guardian Urgot. And Riot's like, no, this doesn't make sense. We're not going to do this. But the more they denied it, the more people demanded it. Until finally, like, fine. Would you star Pajama Guardian, which is like Star Guardians at a sleepover? Pajama Guardian Urgot. But they did put the caveat. They put cosplay in the skin name, just so like, no, he's not actually with them. He is not part of the universe. It's a cosplay.
Oh, God help me. This is, wow.
The actual entire champion of Volibear originally was because there was a meme in the Riot forums at the time for an armored bear. That was it. People wanted an armored bear, and I was like, well, make it a champion, sure.
Dude, like, for the longest time, and this isn't Riot, this is just, this is Blizzard, but in Overwatch, there's been, from the very beginning, talk of a character called Jetpack Cat. And we haven't gotten him, but oh my gosh, they keep dropping, like, little, like, teases, like, hey, you know, like, isn't it weird how, like, this new character Brig has a cat that wears armor? I don't know, Jetpack Cat, who knows? And you know, like, was
this the community? Was that the community, or is that Blizzard saying that stuff?
Blizzard, you know, like, so Jetpack Cat is not out of the question. Like, there's been like talks with like the developers, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, characters that could be coming in the future. You know, like for example, the Junker Queen from Junkertown. You know, like really interesting. We got Sojourn, which is basically confirmed for Overwatch 2. You know, Liu, who was an original member of Overwatch. Jetpack Cat, we don't know, you know. It's, hey, go back, Jetpack Cat? Please let this be a real thing. I mean, we have Space Gorilla and, like, fucking, like, what do you call it?
I mean, it's okay. It's not out of the realm of possibility for that.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes with some of these kind of games where you have a massive cast of characters, you occasionally get some that just don't seem to fit the universe. But the more of those kind of characters you get, the more you realize, no, there's no limits here. You, like you're complaining about this character when this character exists? No.
Yeah, really. I mean...
the lead character that's still cut to this day so far kind of like confuses me, like this doesn't seem to fit in League, but at the same time I can't not justify its existence.
Hold on. Oh, okay, Yumi. I was about to say, let me precede your statement with this question. Who is the best recent League of Legends character, and why do you think it's Seraphine?
Oh wow, you just name dropped one of the most hated characters in the game, but
he said Seraphine. He didn't say her actual name, which is Sona Reskin.
Yeah. Why would you do that to Sona?
One thing,
we were talking about waifus earlier. I will go ahead and say, yeah, no, Sona.
Raven says he would be happy with Jetpack Cat. Everybody would be happy with Jetpack Cat. Literally, Blizzard.
I don't even play.
Blizzard could have saved themselves. They could have saved themselves from being bought up by Microsoft if they just released Jetpack Cat.
I mean, I played Jetpack Cat. I didn't even play the game. I'd be down for Jetpack Cat.
Let's be honest. They would have saved themselves if they just released Overwatch 2.
Oh.
That's not false. I mean, Overwatch 2 looks freaking amazing, but that's just me.
All right. Now, you were asking about best champion. Are we talking best designed, like from a gameplay perspective, best lore, best...
I'll leave that up to you.
Best visual design?
I'll leave that up to you, baby. You know, like, wow me.
All right. Give me a time frame. What do we define as recent?
5 years.
Let me get the list up.
Feel free to answer here, Dare.
Champions by release.
What was the question?
Who is your favorite recent, like, modern League of Legends character, and why is it Seraphine?
Oh, recent. That's the killer word right there. Is recent.
Yeah, you know, within 5 years. Because this is a game spanning, like, what is it, like, over 150 champions now?
Yeah, 150, roughly.
Yeah, dude, like, they got as many...
We're Pokemon champions.
I was gonna say, you got Gen 1 Pokemon levels here, man.
Alright, in terms of gameplay design, I'm going to say Viego, the Ruin King. Because the fact that, okay, his passive ability, where anyone he participates in a kill, he can actually possess their body get all their abilities, all their items, and like use their abilities. That's a fun and cool and really interesting gameplay mechanic where you're literally just possessing what you kill.
He's hot.
Viego?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually somewhat okay with that too, because people were very much expecting kind of like the Ruined King was a champion that they were teasing for years. He was like one of the big bads that was always like, oh yeah, he's way out there. He's not going to be a gameplay character. He's like a lore character. No, they brought him in.
Mm-hmm.
And they were expecting kind of like the old school style Lich Lords, old, decrepit, skeletal, either like a warrior kind of thing or a mage. They weren't expecting ghost incel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an interesting take, and honestly, I was actually very much okay with it. I liked it. Hey, this is actually interesting, and the story behind it was pretty cool. I actually don't mind Viego as a champion at all. I think he's pretty cool.
I don't know when most of these heroes came out, so I think my safe bet to stay within the 5-year limit you gave me is saying Rel is my favorite.
Rel, I think I have like some of the list in front of me. I think it was 2020.
Yeah, so that's within 5 years.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah. So yeah, Rel probably my favorite champion. I haven't played the new one that they just released. I bought it, but I haven't
same.
had a chance to play it.
Zeri.
Yeah,
that actually was a really cool idea for a gameplay hook from them, because Riot does this. They want like champions that kind of invoke certain feelings, like either like a fighting game character, for example, for like Riven or Set or whatever. But shit, where was I going with this?
Dude, Rel looks dope. I just like pulled up her art on Google. Holy cow!
Dude, her like champion theme is also a banger too. Oh yeah, but Zeri was designed because someone in their design team said, we want a champion in our game to mimic the feeling of being in a first-person shooter. Not like just for like regular ADCs, because in League your ADCs they auto attack and it's right clicking. Like it's not aiming. You're not having that kind of feeling. It's just I'm clicking your character model and I'm hitting you. That's it. So they made the champion where her equivalent of her basic attack is a skill shot.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like they keep saying that it's completely unintentional, but the new character they dropped on Valorant looks exactly like her.
Yeah, and there's another character in Legends of Runeterra who has a similar like look to her. So it's like, you're telling us this is all coincidence. And they're like, yeah, kind of.
It's all a coincidence, and it's the same guy designing all of them. And like, yeah, like
I'm attributing that more to the guy just having limited ideas of how to draw characters. Like maybe because oh god, hold on.
You good there? You good?
Our special guest has expired.
Our hot takes were too spicy for him.
Nope. Nope, still not.
The Sleeping Wendigo has joined us, and I'd like to say hello. Idiotic Synergy says that, and I'm guessing that he's saying this about Viego. He says it sounds a lot like the Lich Guards from the Necrons, which is, what do you call it?
Warcraft.
Warhammer.
Warhammer. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
There's too many games that have war in their name. You gotta.
I mean, war is a pretty broad concept.
War of Worldcraft.
War never changes.
Call of Duty World at Warcraft.
Call of Fallout Warcraft 2020 21.
Super Mario World of War.
Super Mario World at War. Like, wow, Nintendo's going in a much different direction nowadays.
The moment they started putting the dating sims on the Switch store, I was like, "Oh, Nintendo, something's changing over there, isn't there?"
Yeah. Did they just put the KFC dating sim?
I don't know that if it was the KFC dating sim, but they put like Doki Doki Literature Club, I think, and a bunch of like Zenron Kagura stuff, which, don't Google. If you don't want to like let the people on the other, if you don't want your NSA agent watching you to think that you're a degenerate.
Yeah. speaking of degeneracy, Bard, you were speaking earlier of like, your league waifus.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised you didn't include Samira on your list, because I'm looking through the list of recent champions. I'm like, oh yeah, Samira. I'm like,
That's because I
Talk
keep
about Bard
forgetting
now.
her name.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the tough chick, the really cool one with the eye patch.
Dante in League.
Yeah, Dante in League of Legends. Yeah, she's cool. I like her. Sleeping Wendigo says, "How is everyone?" So guys, how are you guys doing?
I'm definitely not trying out the new champion in a custom map.
And I have successfully not choked to death on coffee. So, progress.
Progress. As for me, I woke up to my dog voiding her bowels all over my carpet. So I mean, like, I'm off to a rough start. But we're hanging in there. Hopefully, I keep thinking that at this point it's all gotta be out of there. But every time I check, she's throwing up some more. So I mean, I'm just kind of like, this is gonna be one of those days, isn't it?
Tonight, I'm actually starting my Curse of Strahd D&D campaign with one of my other groups that I've been heavily prepping for, so that's going to be something to look forward to later.
Nice.
I played through Curse of Strahd. It was a pretty good campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking back to that TikTok that you sent me where he's like, "Welcome to Ravenloft." I'm like, God help me. Right after, like, as soon as that finished playing, a new video kind of popped up where it's like, "Hey, here's how you roleplay Strahd," and they're going down his history, and I was like, okay, so he had like a younger brother who looked identical to him, but his younger brother was like a try-hard do-gooder.
I don't remember them looking so similar, but basically, Strahd was always a dick and an asshole.
Yes.
And then he's like, "Oh, hey, hot girl, I want her."
Yeah, but then
wait,
she was like,
she loves my nice guy brother. Why not me?
Yeah.
If I kill him, then she'll like me. That's not how that works, Strahd.
I mean, is that not how it works? I thought that was like, picking up ladies 101.
Oh, just kill the person they're actually interested in? I mean, I suppose it can't hurt your chances.
I mean, there's got to be a reason so many people try it. Like, if you watch these true crime documentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of murderers...
The Nevermore Collective does not endorse murder.
We kind of do.
To this day, I think the best champion Riot has ever produced in all aspects, like literally the perfect champion in terms of gameplay, design, theme, and audio visual, is Jhin.
Jhin, the guy with the mask?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to live until they die. That's all I gotta say about him.
League of Legends 3? What? I didn't even know League of Legends 2 came out. Now, explain to me why you believe this to be the case.
Alright, so Jhin, in terms of his design, he's all built around, like, he's a serial killer, and everything about him is asymmetrical. You have that giant kind of mechanical thing on his shoulder. The way his outfit, it's all asymmetry.
Mm-hmm.
They successfully actually gave you that feeling of him being like some kind of OCD crazy person with his obsession with the number 4. His gun holds 4 bullets. His grenade bounces 4 times. He has 4 shots in his ult. And
he counts to 4 when you shoot.
Oh yeah, he literally counts as he's shooting you.
Mm-hmm.
And just his voice lines all really communicate this absolute crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
And his gameplay is actually super satisfying. Like most ADCs with their auto attacks, it's like, hey, you're almost rapid firing at someone. It's like arrow, 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 arrow. Cool, that's nice. You're doing DPS. Jhin has a fixed auto attack speed. You buy attack speed items, and they don't actually increase your attack speed at all. They just add more damage to your shots. So with these extra powerful individual autos, they gave it like some really nice sound design where every one of these shots just feels so meaty when you hit it. Like, I know you guys have played games, like fighting games, where it's like, okay, the sound design really communicates like a big hit or something.
Right.
And it just feels like, oh yeah, that felt good. each one of his autos kind of feels that way when it hits.
Nice.
Especially the fourth one. Like you get a super satisfying sound, and it's an execute too, so it does more damage based on their missing health, and it's a really satisfying gameplay. And then like the music theme for him, his actual champion theme, is really good, and he's been one of their most popular characters for a while.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like looking through some Google images of him. There's one here that I'm like, okay, this is probably nothing, but like they're kind of like putting him side by side with Silco from Arcane, and they're like, yeah, there's some similarities there, and I was like, yeah, but no.
Yeah, no, they live in two completely different. Well, no, the time frame doesn't match up because Jin was probably in jail by that point, and also Jin is Ionian and lives in Weebland, while Seiko was a Zonite industrialist.
I'm sorry, Weebland?
Ionia.
Why is that Weebland?
That is where all the Asian champions go.
Oh, God help me.
Riot is actually a little bit almost racist for the fact that, hey, they just, like, hey, here's literally where all our kind of Chinese, Japanese themed characters are from. They're all from this one region in the world. And that's where you got your Yasuos, your Yones, Kali.
Aurelia.
Oh, yeah, Aurelia. Yeah. And honestly, a lot of their most popular champions are from there. It's actually, like, I think that's where if you, like, break down all the champions by what region they're from, Ionia actually has the most.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do have to commend Riot on this, that, you know, like, world building wise, like, their world feels extremely diverse. Like, the lands, like, all feel like they have their own personality, their own flavor. You know, the champions that come from it, like, just a wide variety of individual characters and stuff. So, I mean, I really do enjoy that. I think that art direction wise, they're top tier for sure.
I would definitely agree with that. And Derringer, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like Riot, even though the fans of them probably argue otherwise, are actually really, really good about establishing and promoting their universe as its own property, especially in recent times.
Well,
Whereas
yeah.
I am not sure. I don't actually know how does Dota and stuff handle their universe.
Well, here recently, since Dota 2 is actually bought by it was made in 2011 by Valve with IceFrog's help, and they really don't go too much into the universe of Dota 2. They do events every now and then that look into the universe, but as far as the Dota 2 universe goes, it's not. I'd say it's not as established as Riot has made their game, because Riot has like Arcana, they have all their comics and stuff that they've made. They've got like different cities and stuff and name locations that they've really fleshed out with their details. But as far as like any of that stuff, we have a 2-season Netflix series with Arcana that just looks into like the background of a couple heroes. We have some comics that were written, but they're more like hero based.
Just to clarify, I think you're talking about Dota to Dragon Blood right now, not Arcane for Dota.
Yeah. Dragon Blood is what I meant. But yeah, it's the Dota universe it's established, but it's not established as much as the Riot universe.
Do they not have any kind of promotion for when new characters come out? Like, you know, Riot does the CGI trailers sometimes, or maybe they'll just have a teaser. It depends on, you know, what they're going for with their release promotion. Does Warcraft not really do that with their new characters?
Yeah, we get. I can actually look up a couple videos for you, but we get like during the international, they'll do like the big reveal of the champion. I remember. I think it was for TI5. They had the All-Star game, which is like any other All-Star game. Everybody picks their favorite player and they just make a random mishmash team of all these players from all around the world. And for 2015, there's a guy called Arteezy, and they said that he was going to pick his hero, and they asked him, "What's your hero going to be?" And he said, "You'll have to see. It's going to be explosive." And then he picked Sniper, and everybody's like, "Oh, that sucks." And then these fireworks go off in the arena, and this big explosion, and it changes his hero to Techies, which was the new hero that everyone had wanted, and now everyone regrets.
Okay, so less of a lore preview, more of a, hey, we're making an event out of this champion's release.
Yeah.
Now, I want to deviate from here because this is something that I think that Riot does really, really well, which is the hyping up of the characters before they're released. I think that their CGI trailers are, really kick-ass. And, like, a lot of the times, I don't really play League because, I'm very bad at it. But, and, like, I make excuses all the time about how, I don't have the time to put in to, get good, so I'm forever a scrub on the game. But when I see these trailers announcing the new characters coming out, I'm like, dude, I want to play League. Like, 'cause that character looks so awesome, That said, I think Konami should take a hint and do that with their archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they have lore behind them, and the lore is never elaborated. And Master Duel has fixed that. If you play the solo mode, it will give you the lore for the archetypes. But I honestly think that Riot has the right idea. It's like, hey, what would be really awesome? If we made a trailer for this character where they're just kicking ass and looking awesome. Or, where for the smaller characters, like, this character's cute, but also dangerous, like Nico, for example. Like, it's a small movie, no more than 5 minutes generally, and it really puts the character in perspective. Like, this is who they are, this is what they do, and a lot of the times once it's over, it's like, I liked that,
Well, I was about to say, like, Konami has the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime to solve that problem for them, don't they?
Well, here's the thing, though. The anime is so focused on the card game and the characters playing the card game that they don't ever, like, go in depth into, like, what the cards, like, because the archetypes themselves have a story told within themselves. A lot of the times you can see it in the card artwork. And, but here's the thing. Konami releases what that lore is overseas in, like, a magazine. Like, they'll tell you, like, they'll show you, like design sketches for the characters and for the cards, so you get to see, like, okay, so this is what that character looks like. But, like, for example, like, one of the easiest ones to kind of tell is Alistair the Invoker. There's a lore behind Alistair. He appears in several cards, like, for example, Magical Meltdown, Alistair the Invoker of Madness. He's one of the prophecy cards too. He's the prophecy link monster, where he's just in a tube, kind of like one of those healing tubes from Dragon Ball Z. And so, like, he's got a story about, basically going mad with magic. But we don't know anything about that story. Like, people overseas know it because they read it in the V-Jump magazine, but, like, we have no clue. And I think, like, just a small trailer, I was like, oh, Alistair the Invoker, can summon monsters from beyond realms, but the more he uses his magic, the madder he goes with power. Like, that would be super awesome. I'd see that.
I want the Go Gaga Gigo lore, please.
Yes, the Go Giga Gaga Gigo lore.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think would have been a big help to that, and it's something Konami could have actually borrowed from Riot. Is I've had you play a little bit of Runeterra, Sam. So Bard. So you know how. Yeah, name drop.
I've been doxxed.
His address is as follows. But
here's a list of his fears.
But in the card game, when Runeterra, when you play certain cards, a good chunk of them have their own voice, right? Not even just the champions, like even like
That's
other
true.
other characters in that champion's archetype.
Mm-hmm.
They have voice lines that they will say to when you play certain allies in their archetype.
Mm-hmm.
They will say when your opponent may play certain enemies of theirs that they would know. So in the middle of the card game, you're getting some of the lore just by these characters talking, by the cards talking to each other as you play them.
Very true. And what's it called? That is 100% real. I was playing Runeterra for a while, and with my Sejuani Ash build, like a lot of the cards would, have like a little voice line when summoned, and it would just kind of give you an idea like what's going on in this world. So it's something I really, really like.
So yeah, now as you say, like if Konami had implemented that kind of stuff, now granted with them actually it would be the same problem. Like they have a much huger card pool, so it'd have to be more selective about which cards they use. Probably just focus on what they know to be, big archetype players.
Mm-hmm.
It requires some investment, but I think that would really heighten the experience, especially considering Master Duel's, otherwise excellent sound work.
Very true. Sangen cries. If Sangen is your mate and you lose, he cries. It makes me sad. Now I win so that Sangen won't cry.
Don't be sad, Sangen.
Don't be.
We'll get them next time.
I've had Master Duel for all of like 10 minutes, and I've already bought the Ash Blossom mini and the fucking Ash Blossom sleeves. I'm sorry.
Now, is it forehead Ash Blossom or is it feet Ash Blossom?
Wait, what?
It's kind of
What?
Right?
I don't.
Ash Blossom has two separate artworks, and one of them she's flying towards the viewer, so you get her forehead looks really big. And in the other one, she's kind of like, in a sitting position where, her feet are just dangling in front of her. And so people are like, which is your favorite Ash? And that's how we tell whether or not, like, you're a degenerate or not, is if you prefer forehead Ash or feet Ash.
It's actually Feet Blossom and Joyous Forehead.
Yeah, I feel like Konami has to know what they're doing with that. They know what they're catering to. They know what they're doing.
Surprisingly, the lore behind the design for Ash Blossom is really deep, and I was like, holy cow! Like whenever I found out about it, I was like, dang man, like they really pulled inspiration like hard on this card artwork. It's great. Yeah.
Well, then you have you always have that creepy, weird like lore that you have to kind of dig through, like Pokemon, the Drift Bloom take children away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's creepy. I'd just say that's how life goes, honestly.
A bunch of ghost balloons coming up and snatching up children. Yeah, that's just how life is sometimes.
Yeah. Just kids on the playground.
That's how life be, man.
Swinging. It's just a bunch of just like a flock of these fucking balloons just descend upon the kids on the playground.
I don't know. Sometimes your plush toy is just a ghost who's trying to eat your soul and lure you in like an anglerfish.
Yeah, you've heard about Annabelle. There's a whole movie about that happening. That said, hold on. There was something I was going to say. Oh yeah, Helix says, I normal summon Alistair. That is a solid first move. That is arguably the best normal summon in the game.
Yeah, just give Alistair a voice over where he actually confirms that to you. It's like, excellent play.
Yeah, really, like you normal summon Alistair, he's like, you started off on the right foot!
That would be his voice, though.
Yeah, that would be his voice.
It'd just be like the most unfitting voice for Alistair is his voice.
I cast Invocation!
Bard.
Yo.
Our interpretation of Dr. Doom's voice.
Oh, remember? Yeah. Yeah, like me and Mordor had like this whole thing where like, Dr. Doom looks very imposing, but I'm like, how weird would it be, like this guy wearing this huge metal suit, like cloak, and he's both a magician and a scientist, like if he just had like the most unfitting voice ever. So it's like, foiled again, Reed Richards! It's just kind of, I'm like, that would be...
Honestly, I'm actually kind of in that boat because recently and it's because of you, Bard. Some of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff is showing up on my YouTube algorithm a little bit more often nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, but sometimes you just can't help clicking on it for nostalgia.
Konami should hire me.
And a video came up of the Bakura versus Merrick duel on the Blimp.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sure, I'll click on it, I'll watch. I haven't watched the Yu-Gi-Oh anime since the GX era is when I last really watched it. But I didn't realize when I clicked it, it was the subbed version. And Bakura's voice, I'm used to dub Bakura. And Japanese are like, what? Why? What is this?
So the video I just posted in the chat was when you were doing Alistair's voice. That was the Team 4-star abridged.
Yes.
The psychic race that just, I can see the future.
yes, I love it.
It's like that's what Bird was going for. I feel like.
Oh my god, Team 4-star is amazing. And I love them.
I mean, hey, Little Karibo started it, but dude, Team 4-star perfected it. Yes.
Yep.
Like DBZ Abridged is art.
I will give Karibo credit because he did all those voices on his own. There was like a somewhat of a team with Team 4-star.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, definitely they perfected the art of the Abridged series.
Absolutely, it was great.
Didn't they get like sort of a cameo in one of the dubs or versions of DBZ? I think maybe it was Kai, where they actually got to do some voices.
I think they did. Like I remember hearing about it, but I can't confirm, so I don't know.
I think what it was is like when Hercule Mr. Satan was doing like his version of what actually happened at the Cell games as like a TV special. The actors, quote unquote, who were playing Goku and Vegeta and all them were the Team 4-star voice were.
Oh, that's hilarious! I love that.
It's a shame that they never actually finished the Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I think they got through the Cell saga and then never did the Buu saga just because they were like, it's too much work and we don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I don't disbelieve that. I mean that was a lot of work.
To be fair though, I think the Cell saga was the best play. DBZ should have ended at Cell saga for me personally.
They wanted DBZ to end at Frieza, or the author.
He originally, he wanted to end it at Frieza, which would have been a fine point to end it. I agree. I think that would have been an excellent point to end it. But I think Cell was actually the perfect spot to end it because at that point Goku was in theory permadead.
Mm-hmm.
As permadead as you could be in Dragon Ball universe, bear in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But he is dead, he has passed on, and he has passed his hero title on the Gohan. Gohan is now like a big deal power-wise and protector of the Earth. Vegeta is a fully 100% in good guy camp at this point now. And I thought that was a good place to end it.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. It's just... I don't know, man. Jump was like wanting to milk the Dragon Ball hype train. They're like, yeah, dude, just keep going.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm at the point in my life where I look at a lot of corporate decisions, and on the one hand, I'm like, oh man, I don't like what this is. This is not what I want, so I don't like it. But obviously, But then in my head, I'm thinking, but obviously it's making money because otherwise they wouldn't be doing it.
Very true.
Like with the getting back to kind of the Riot Designs and League stuff. They're owned by China now, and their market research, it also shows that even with the U.S. territories and North America and Europe, monster champions are in general less played and less popular. Those people prefer picking humanoid characters because, as most people know, people more readily identify with human characters or humanoid characters.
True.
You just get that connection better, so they perform better. Their skins sell better. People play them more. So. What is a company to do when most of the demand says, hey, people like playing humanoids, generally attractive champions? Well, we're going to make more of them than monstrous or, other kinds of champions. So I get it. It's frustrating me because I want to see more variety in design sometimes. Like Alawi, for example, is like, big buff giant tank of a woman, and there's a good bit. It's like, hey, no, it's good to have some variety in the game, and a lot of people really like that champion. But in general, like, no, if you look at just numbers, she's not as popular.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that, and it is what it is, unfortunately, you know. Like you're gonna
Money
make,
talks.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna make what makes money.
But on the plus side, like, when you're making as much money as Riot is, you can afford to, like, hey, we're gonna make something for these fans, even though it's technically a loss for us. I think I don't have the post somewhere, but there was a discussion going on about Riot skins. Like, hey, this is a champion that's unpopular, but it hasn't had a skin in over a year. Like, this champion has one skin, and it was their release skin, you know, and they're complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Riot says, look, like, we try to do this, but, you know, it costs money to make these skins. We have to pay people, and, you know, trust me, we're going to try to do it, but they actually shared an anecdote. There was another champion that was in a similar boat. They didn't specify who, they didn't specify which skin, but it says, this skin, worldwide, sold only 7,000.
Yikes.
So
Worldwide, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, no, so worldwide, this champion, and it wasn't like it was a low quality skin, it was a decent skin, they said. Like, it was like one of their, like, you know, 1300 RP point tier skins, so new animations, new sound effects, you know, not legendary tier, but it was the works, it was a real skin. And they said, worldwide, this only sold 7,000 units. But we're still glad we did it, because there's people of that champion's player base who wanted, you know, more skins and more options. Now, it cost us more to make the skin than we made. Now, obviously, it's not going to be the case for, like, every champion with a low play rate, but the fact that they are still willing to do that sometimes at all, like, instead of just leaving that champion in the desert somewhere,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, because I like the variety too. I actually think that Overwatch kind of like does that a lot, where, you know, like, for example, not every character is the same. Like, you know, like Mercy and Mei are very different. They're still in that Blizzard cutesy kind of look, you know?
I think that's just part of their art style rather than anything. But
right.
I mean, people say, someone was actually arguing, oh, this champion is a fighter. Like, okay, it was actually Samira.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a YouTube personality who was basically talking about champion designs, like Samira. Samira should be, like, covered in scars because she's a daredevil fighter who goes in there, and it's like, yeah, okay, but it's like he wants her to look much more battle mangled almost.
Like
no,
Mel's mom in Arcane.
More so,
right?
And not saying anything bad about Mel's mom, because, like, that was a cool design.
That was a cool design.
But it's like
the way she's bossing people around, I'm like, yes, ma'am, let's go.
It was like he was like, I don't know. It was talking about basically, making it different for the sake of being different, instead of, hey, we still need to make a character and design that people want to play as.
Right.
And the most popular people, not the most popular, but, like,
the people with the money.
Yeah, sure.
Raven does say it's unfortunate, but the money will always speak just a bit louder, and that is true. That is true of everything, really.
Yeah. But that's the cool thing that, you know, Riot sometimes does, I think, is when they're making enough money, okay, like, they make 1 million Lux skins, 1 million Ari skins. Like, those two characters will always get a new skin when, like, a new theme comes out. You can almost be guaranteed.
Yeah.
When they make enough money off of those skins, hey, we can now put these resources back and make a skin that we know is not going to make us that much money, but we can afford to do it because you guys bought Lux and Ari skins.
Yeah.
So that's when people say, like, hey, why is Lux getting her 15th skin and this champion's sitting at 3? Well,
yeah,
those skins are paying for your skins, so.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, it's a way to kind of, like, share the wealth around, I guess. Yeah.
KDA just printing money for Riot.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I remember, like, KDA was one of those things that made me pay attention. I was like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Yeah, like, for one thing, it'd be one thing if it was just like, okay, we're cashing in on the cash cow that is K-pop, you know?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, they went all out in not just, like, making completely banger character designs, but they also released music that was really, really good. You know, like
Their second thing had a full album with it, like
Yes.
multiple songs.
Yes, exactly. All Out had a full album. I was like, holy cow! And here's the thing: it would have been one thing again if one of those songs was good, but several of them were, and I was just like, holy cow! Like they are really killing it. And
just go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No. I was just gonna agree with you. KDA just printing money for Riot.
Yeah. No, as kind of like another example of that. K-pop is a huge thing right now. People love K-pop, and that, I guarantee you, is super popular overseas. Something that's not as popular overseas is like metal, like
True.
hard rock metal.
Agreed.
But Riot actually made a full-length metal album with Pentakill 3.
They did.
And it's like, and I guarantee you that was nowhere near as successful as KDA. But they released a full album with legitimate band members and produced like a virtual concert for it.
Yeah. That album was also good, by the way. I mean, I'm a metalhead, so like I enjoyed it, but I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah. So, like, basically, like a lot of that, what they'll do is like loss leaders. It's like a loss leader in business is like, hey, we are making this product knowing it's not going to make us the money we want it to make, but we're doing it to engage different fans and keep them invested. Riot at this point is a like full universe. So when you have that kind of business model with the microtransactions where where pretty much all their games are free and all of them run on microtransactions if you want, is okay, we have all these players and not all of them are going to spend money. But if we keep everyone engaged as much as possible, eventually they'll be there for us when we produce something they will engage with and will buy. Like Runeterra, like plenty of people don't play League anymore. Like even a lot of League fans don't play League because the joke is like, haha, League's most toxic community, and I kind of agree. It's a very hard game to get into unless you already have friends who are going to stick with you and play with you, so you don't have to deal with solo queue and just randos.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they don't play League, they're still engaged with the Riot universe because there's something else that Riot produces that they like. So whenever they make something else, and like that person may not normally give money to Riot, but they see something because they're still engaged, like, oh, I like that, I'll spend money on that.
Yeah, like for example, like so I'm not very invested in League of Legends personally, but if they release like an Arcane DVD box set, I probably will get it because I enjoyed the hell out of that show. So it's exactly as you say, like, hey, maybe they don't play, but keep them engaged because they will, support us at some point down the line.
Yeah, and I think that's entirely what Legends of Runeterra runs on, because like I was kind of mentioning earlier, the Riot's TCG, Legends of Runeterra, is by far the most free-to-play friendly TCG out there, by far.
Mm.
Like, they just shower you in free stuff, and if you are actually dedicating yourself to kind of playing and just earning their stuff, you could complete the entire card collection at this point probably in less than a year, like 100% of the cards.
It is a new TCG, so like that makes sense.
Granted, the way they release cards, there's fewer cards, and they release generally a little bit slower in smaller groups. But the point is, like, they still shower you in free stuff.
Now,
and there's so few cosmetics for it, so there's no real chance, unless you're just buying cards, there's not a lot of microtransactions to do it. And you don't need to buy the cards because they shower you in free cards.
Yeah.
So how does the game make money? That's the joke. It doesn't. But it doesn't need it to make money because they make enough money elsewhere that they can afford to just keep this game updated and running well, so that, hey, eventually, you guys, even if you're not going to spend money here, you're still engaged with us.
Something I do want to ask Derringer about regarding this. Legends of Runeterra does something really cool that I think that Konami can implement into Master Duel, and that's that they can modify the strength of cards on the digital platform. Now, that to me is really cool because what I think Konami should capitalize on here is that before they print cards in the TCG, they can kind of release an archetype on Master Duel and kind of toy with it until they get the power level just so, before they release it. You know what I'm saying? Before it's printed on cardboard. So what are your thoughts on that?
So basically you're asking, like, they can play test, or they play test basically before releasing
Yeah.
the card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Konami should like release a version of a new card to the public in a way like Master Duel. That way, whenever it is actually released in the TCG, you don't have a issue with it being overly broken or just overly broken, I guess would be the best way to put it. Like I've been like zoning out here trying to play Master Duel. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say Raven's worried about you. He's asking about you in the chat.
Well, you guys were going pretty well, and it's just like Master Duel. I want to try to get this like tutorial stuff done so I can open up packs.
Yeah, and seriously, like, dude, like solo mode, it is so easy to get gems. Like, and you know, it's kind of dumb. It's like, okay, well, beat this AI with a loner deck. You know, like, so beat this AI using megaliths, and it's like, okay, you know, like beat this AI using gladiator beasts, which for me was super easy because I used to run them back in the day. I was like, yeah, I know exactly how this works. We got this. But like every time, like whenever you finish those individual modules, you'll have like 500 more gems. So like if you troop through it, dude, like you will have over 10,000 gems by the time you're done with like all the stuff that's just available.
But yeah, I honestly feel like most companies should do like some form of play testing with their whatever product. Konami definitely needs to have some form of playtest because it's really ridiculous on how Konami just kind of lets things go through that. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, like I don't want any emergency ban lists or things that release in the OCG, but then they decide, you know what, the TCG can't handle this.
Yeah, I was actually when you were first bringing up this idea, Bard, of the modifying the digital version of the card game. At first, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Because Magic was actually doing something similar on Arena, and I'll get in that in a second. But when you followed up with, no, you release them online before the paper cardboard release, like that is actually a much, much better idea.
Right?
Because with these card games, like Konami, Wizards, they all do have playtesters, but those are all employees of the company that they pay, and it's a limited team.
Right.
The second a card I guarantee you they playtest, but the second a card is released to the public, you have now expanded your playtest team by, millions.
Yes.
And they are going to find things that you missed.
True, and that's kind of what I keep throwing out there is, like Konami releases cards, and for all intents and purposes, in their eyes, it's balanced. But then you're giving it to degenerates who will find a way to break it, so...
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Magic had, on Arena right now, there's a big controversy with Magic on Arena because they've introduced a new format, and they've actually replaced their quote-unquote eternal format, which is their non-rotating one. Mm-hmm. They have turned their historic format, which is, you've played Arena, you've had your collection. Okay, standard rotation happened, these cards are out of the standard game. Oh, but you can still play them on our eternal format called Historic. Cool. You can still play with the cards you've earned. They have recently made it called Alchemy, where, hey, these cards, we are slightly modifying them because, after you guys played with them, we've seen, design flaws, and we have modified them. But now the issue is that a lot of people are up in arms about is part of the thing of Arena was it was supposed to be, this is you playing tabletop Magic on your PC, so the cards should match.
Right.
Like the cards that you have in paper should do the same thing on the digital platform. Mm-hmm. But now there's a chance it doesn't, and now the metagames are different, and now the two games start drifting apart. So they don't like now that you're changing these things. A digital only card game like Runeterra gets away with it. Because they shower you in free stuff, so even if a card you played got nerfed into the ground, well, you didn't lose anything for it.
Yeah.
But with like something like a Magic Arena, where hey, rare wild cards are freaking hard to get and expensive, it's like, well, I used 3 of my wild cards on this card. Okay, we didn't ban it, we just nerfed it, so it's not as good. Well, shit, am I gonna get my wild cards back? No.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is that Duel Links actually had something like that happen, and this Duel Links by and large is just dumb. Like I play it, but like I'm not happy about it. Like I was like, but what's it called?
That's the League of Legends. I play League. Are you happy about it? Does it make you happy? No, it just makes me mad. Well, why do you keep playing it? I don't know.
Yeah, the reason I kept playing it is because at the time Master Duel wasn't out. That's why. But anyway, like the thing is, Duel Links had this thing happen where people did spend a bunch of time and efforts grinding, and like some people spent money on getting specific cards. And when they were banned, it was a big deal. But here's what Konami did: if you had that card that was banned, you could actually trade it for an ultra rare ticket or like a dream ticket or something like that, so you could get a different card that you wanted. So it's like, yeah, we get it. You have this card and now it's banned. Now you can't use it. But you know what? Go and get something you can use. So I was like, that's really good. And I kind of hope that they do that with Master Duel too. That if a ban list hits something that you have, you could kind of trade it out for something. Oh well, actually, you know what?
Yeah, no, based on the way you can like break down and dust, which is the Hearthstone term for it, break down cards to get new ones at a pretty generous rate. I don't really think it's necessary for them because hey, you just trade it in and you could either keep the card for maybe it will get unbanned later, or you can trade it in. So I think and they have enough of a generous system where it's okay.
Yeah.
The issue with Magic Arena is they will only give you back your wild cards that you spent if the card was outright banned.
Yeah.
In this new format where, hey, we're not banning the card, we're just, changing it, we're nerfing it. Or something. Okay, so if I don't like that nerf and I don't want to play the deck that this card is the centerpiece of anymore, do I get my wild cards back? No, because the card is still there, still playable, and you have it.
Yeah, and that as I was saying it, like the very same thing that you said is exactly what I started realizing is, you know what? In Yu-Gi-Oh, just because a card is banned right now doesn't mean it will be banned forever. Like if it's power crept enough, it will come off the ban list. So yeah, like trading it for something else doesn't exactly make sense a lot of the time. So you can still hold on to it in the hopes that one day it becomes unbanned.
Yeah, Runeterra gets around it because as a digital-only game, there is zero physical card game to worry about in terms of a card matching anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's some cards that, as the meta has changed, has gone through, like, stat changes, like, very often, actually. And sometimes it's been reverted because, hey, like, removal back then wasn't what removal is now. We can afford to give this card more health, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas before, but like maybe before removal wasn't as good. Hey, this card is overstated. We're lowering its health so that removal was more effective on it.
Yeah.
Later on, as the game develops, hey, removal is better now. This card doesn't see play because everything kills it. We now feel comfortable returning it to its original stats because the cards are there, they answer it.
Yeah. It's the story of like Harpy's Feather Duster and Heavy Storm, like why is Harpy's Feather Duster legal when it's infinitely stronger than Heavy Storm? Because Heavy Storm destroys your stuff too. I'm like, well, that's because you can have stuff that floats into other things. So it's banned for those reasons. But like if we ever get to a point where that's not an issue, well, yeah, by all means, unban Heavy Storm.
Yeah.
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 I feel like a lot of the older cards that have been retrained can come off the ban list in some way, shape, or form. Like we can't do like Pot of Greed, obviously, but like
yeah, Pot of Greed is always going to be that one that's like this was too good always.
See, as a Magic player, the idea of a basic +1 card advantage card being banned still just breaks my mind a little bit. I understand why it's banned in Yu-Gi-Oh because it's a very different game in terms of mechanics. So free +1 is just too good because you're not spending any resources on it. But in my head, like every other card game, draw power like that is just such a common effect.
I was gonna say
like,
Pokemon laughing and +6. I'm like, god damn. Like discard your hand and draw up to your hand size. I was like, what? Like, what is this?
Like, even as a Magic player, Pokemon's draw power was like, whoa, slow down here.
Easy there. Oh man, yeah, Pokemon's ridiculous, dude. And don't get me wrong, Pokemon is a fun game because it's easy to understand, it's easy to play, and you know what? Like, you don't get a lot of the same stuff where it's like if you drew a crap hand, you're stuck with it. You know, because it's like, yeah, you know, like play a card, get rid of what you don't want, add what you want. So it's constantly moving, which I like about it. It's you know what? It is kind of like a really good back and forth. It does feel like solid, even if you have like a lower tier deck. You can still play the game. It's not like your opponent can immediately just shut you out. You know?
Yeah. And that's kind of that right there is kind of my personal reason why Yu-Gi-Oh is not my favorite card game, because Pokemon definitely, if you will 9 times out of 10 lose, but if you're playing a lower tier deck against a higher tier deck, or even as a newer player versus a better player, you are still playing cards and playing the game. Yes, you will most likely eventually lose and get beat out by higher powered cards or more fine-tuned strategies. Same is true on Magic. Most of the time, you're still playing the game, unless you get fucking. I'm sorry.
Unless you get fucking.
I keep forgetting I'm on thing. I'm not sure what your rating is.
I don't know.
I curse all the time. You're fine.
Yeah, Darren curses all the time. We're good.
All right, well,
it's not yelled at me for it yet.
No, but Magic, 9 times out of 10, you're still able to play the game unless you get mana screwed, mana flooded, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get all your resources, but none of your playables, or all your playables, but none of your resources. Those are still non-games. Yu-Gi-Oh, the way the game works is you are aiming 9 times out of 10 to get out Omni Negates and Floodgates and stuff as much as possible. Your goal almost is to prevent your opponent from ever having a chance to play.
I agree and disagree. Like, so in the competitive scene, yes, that is absolutely the case. However, you know, like I sometimes go to locals and people understand that, you know, like, hey, if there's nothing at stake, we can just play the game. You know, so like, for example, like, if they're having kind of like a tournament night, then yes, you know, you need to bring your A game. You need to stop your opponent from summoning monsters. You need to be able to negate one of their playmakers, and you need to be able to bounce something to their hand to make sure that, you know, nothing sticks. However, like, you know, most of the time when I go to locals, you know, we got people playing dumb stuff. You know, like people like, oh yeah, here's my 10 yees. You know, which could never compete in the meta, but you know, like I like them. I get away with playing Blackwings all the time, and Blackwings have been power crept to oblivion. So you know, it depends on the scene that you go to, and not every locals is the same because you know, there's 3 that are near me. I've been to all 3. One of them I don't go to anymore because it's like, yeah, when I go there, I'm never going to play a Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not possible. But the other ones is like, yeah, you can sit down with almost anybody and play a very level game. You know, like sometimes less so than others, but, you know, for the most part, yeah.
It's the Commander-style social contract of like, hey, this is the kind of game we're playing.
Right.
Like you have Magic Commander where, no, we're playing straight competitive CEDH, where it's like, no, this is a $1,000 deck with all the fast mana, and I'm going to try to win this 4-player multi-person game by turn 3.
Right.
Versus like, hey, no, we are playing Commander as the community that made it intended. We're playing Battleship Magic, where we're spending 8 mana to cast giant creatures.
Yes. So it really does depend on the place that you go to, more often than not. And what's it called? Helix in the chat went with me to one of our locals, and I remember that he did really well because he got paired off with somebody who was lower tier, and I did not well at all because I got paired off with somebody who was being very try hard meta, you know. And this was back when I got back into the game, so I was like, oh, so it's not just cool for me to like turn 1 synchro into 1 monster set 2 pass. And it was like, no, that is not cool. If you haven't synchro summoned at least 6 times in the first turn, are you even playing?
You gotta get the plant synchro deck going on so you can synchro at least 35 times.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But like I think I've mentioned to you before, I'm waiting for that new set to come out with those new zombie synchros.
Yeah, that's not the Grand Creators, is it? Dare that's the one that comes after.
No, that's it comes after. Yeah, Grand Creators has the Exo Sisters.
The
Exo Sisters, which I'm really excited for that. And then it has the like choose your own pathway.
Oh, the adventure token.
Yeah, the adventure token. And then it has I forgot already what the last one is.
Yeah. Well, the next set from Magic coming out is Kamagawa Neon Dynasty, and
which looks awesome.
Yep. I am kind of excited. I was not big on the original Kamagawa set, but this one is much more in line, like, with my interests, and the Ninja deck is looking really good. There hasn't been any leaks on the actual Samurai cards yet. So, because I know that's what you're looking for, Bard.
Dang right, I'm all about the samurai aesthetic. So yeah, like if they release some Onis or something like that, I'm all there.
They've already previewed Onis. We already got a Ninja Oni, so
yeah.
I know we're getting some samurai style Onis in there too.
Right. Now I do have to say this. I did look at the previous Kamagawa art style, and I feel like the flavor on this one is very different. This one looks very neon punk futurism.
Yeah. So there's a funny history behind that. So when they were doing original Kamagawa, their goal was, hey, we want to be very authentic to the Japanese mythology and folklore source material.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that outside of Japan, most people don't have a authentic understanding of Japanese mythology and folklore. They have a pop culture understanding of it.
That's very true.
So all these references and stuff, and a lot of these themes and references and stuff were going so far over people's heads that the flavor of this, beyond samurais and ninjas, fell flat. Like, they couldn't get it. It didn't help that the set was released at a bad time power scale wise, where it's like, hey, we released just after one of the most massively overpowered sets in a while, so our cards weren't competing in that standard metagame, so no one remembers it and cares about it. So as a power level, it didn't connect, and as flavor it didn't connect. This set is going much more into something people can just visually immediately understand and get, while still keeping a lot of that folklore stuff.
Right. And I'm all for it. From what little I've seen, and like even like the little CGI video that they did for it, the little trailer, I was immediately taken. I was like, yes, this is definitely within my wheelhouse. I love this.
Like their samurai deck, when it comes, it's probably going to be like your version of my Ogdoadic deck, where it's like, is this deck technically competitive? Well, it remains to be seen for your samurai. Mine, I know, are not meta, but it's like I play it anyway.
Yes, exactly. Like like I play it for the flavor, not for the power level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Snake gods.
Samurai. Like the entire time just playing like what's that song by Sabaton?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Dang it! It's the one with the last stand of the samurai. What is it? Googling.
Yes.
Shiroyama.
Oh yes, Shiroyama.
Yeah.
Derringer, you a Sabaton fan? You ever listen to Sabaton?
I love that band that you just said. It is my favorite.
Name 3 songs. No.
Oh shit.
The one you said, it's sequel and the prequel.
Yeah, what Bard said.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay, he's a fan. He's a true fan.
Right. But we're coming up on the 1 hour and a half mark, so we're gonna call it here for this episode of Nevermore Nerds, where we discussed Riot Games, trading card games, Sabaton, and waifus. As we, just a quick recap here, Riot began as a Warcraft 3 thing. Who knew? And so did Dota, apparently. Things we learned today. Seraphine is the best waifu. Yes.
You are. You are the best waifu, Seraphine.
Indeed I am. I was hoping you would pick up on it. And I want to thank our special guest, Senor Maspuertas, for being here with us. And again, I want to, just emphasize that he is a championship arm wrestler. So anyone in the chat, if you feel tough, by all means, challenge him. He is open to it. I will provide his email in the chat. Just, email him. Say, anytime, anywhere, I can beat you at arm wrestling. And I'm sure that he'll take you up on your challenge. Also,
sure, why not? Why not?
Also, if you need doors, he's got more doors than you can imagine.
No, it's been fun. Been fun chatting.
Yeah. And we'd be happy to have you on some other time to discuss more Riot games or whatever, or maybe during the next champion drop, we can geek out over their trailer or whatever.
Oh man, we didn't even have the chance to talk about that new League cinematic they dropped to the call. I mean, the animation on that was...
It was amazing, I will say that.
You saw the pores in Pantheon's skin.
I know. And I would love to continue here, but, again, I have a dog that's been throwing up all day. I gotta go check on her, so I gotta call it short. But thank you for being on. Say bye to everyone in the chat that was here chatting with us. As the Raven Dreams, Helix416, Idiotic Synergy, PA Nightmares, Sleeping Wendigo was here, Derringer, I saw you a couple of times, and Creepy Clown Girl was also here. So thank all of you.
Derringer, I seen you a couple times. I'm in the call with you, Bart.
I know, but you're in the chat also.
Don't forget me.
I'm not forgetting you. You've been playing Master Duel.
Okay. Yeah, I'm building my Endymion deck.
Oh God, this is gonna be fun.
Pin best deck, let's go.
Pin best deck, let's go. But yeah, thank you everybody. This is the Nevermore Nerds signing out. Want to say bye, Dare?
Goodbye, Dare.
Goodbye, Dare. Hasta luego. We'll catch you next weekend.